Hello, we are Sornia. As always, we are delighted to be here to share what we can with you, what we know, to have this exchange, to have this relationship with you that is growing and deepening and expanding into your consciousness, into your world, and into what you understand as the world of spirit. There's so much that we hope over all this time that we share with you and moving forward, that we are able to continue to guide you in such profound ways that we have already. We're not saying it's because of us, we're saying it's because of you. Also, it's that relationship that we have, you with us and us with you. So know that we hear you. We hear you. We laugh at this because we know many of you think, well, nobody can hear my thoughts. And we do hear your thoughts, not as words, but as vibration and frequency. So we sense them might be a better expression of it. And we want to talk to you a little bit today about the non-seen, the spiritual, your consciousness, and how you are made up. We're still focusing how this expresses itself in the physical form, for we want you to really master or feel confident in your ability to master the understanding of the physical form, that you become masters of your own existence, and not just in the physical and not just in the physical form, but to understand how your physical form is an expression of the divine. And you have a consciousness, you call it your soul or consciousness, that resides within that physical form, and it's all interwoven and weaved together. So hopefully we can unravel some of the mysteries here for you. Over time, we have been giving you bits and pieces, maybe more than bits and pieces, but in increments, information that we feel that you can assimilate and take in a way that will help you gain greater understanding of your current situation, which is different than any other time you have been in physical form. It's different this time. And also to help you, what we might say, or what you might say actually, to remember who you really are and what this journey is all about of the physical, of the third dimensional reality, because you still are experiencing the third dimensional reality. Maybe not all the time, not all the time is what we're trying to say. You experience the higher dimensional realities there, you're moving up, but you are still mastering the third dimensional reality and releasing yourselves from its confinement that has held you there for a while. So anyway, we don't want to bring in too much because then it can be overwhelming. So let's just talk a little bit about your physical form and your non-physical forms and what that means at this current time. As we said, it's like no other time before. So you know that you are a soul, that you are a multidimensional being as this soul, and that this soul that you defined yourself and understand as being unique, and it's a unique expression of the divine or source, God. That unique expression that you call soul comes from God, comes from source. You are born from that, if you will. So it chooses, it has free will from the moment that it begins its existence. It chooses where it wants to go, what it wants to learn in its various dimensional realities that it exists in, because as we've spoken to you before, you are multidimensional. Just to reiterate here, okay? You are multidimensional. Your soul resides in other realms of existence, other dimensional realities, that you are connected to that. You will learn more about this in an experienced way in your realm in time. But you are multidimensional. Just keep that in mind. But for now, our focus, as we've said, is with you. When we say our, we mean those of us in spirit and you in the physical. Okay, we are all working together. We are all focused on understanding the conditions that you are experiencing in this unique time that you are present in physical form on earth, with all of the changes and the raising of the consciousness that are going on. What is happening here? Because it is a unique experience. So we are focused more in that realm with you because it is integral to advancing the other realms of where you are residing. But we will stay focused here for now. So know that what you do for yourselves here in this earth reality, that's what we mean by here, you are doing for yourself in other realities and for the all. And we have spoken of that. So what does this mean? All of what we're saying, what are we trying to tell you? We are trying to tell you that you are the masters here. You are the ones, each one of you has decided to come into physical form on earth, in third dimensional earth, with the intention of understanding the limitations that have been created by you through your thoughts and your feelings that have been manipulated by this outside force, and how to transcend that so that you will free yourselves from what you have in this physical reality accepted as being truth. And that's what is advancing. That is what you're calling the raising of your consciousness, which is a bit of a misleading statement, but we'll get into that at another time. So you're in this physical form with your soul, your higher self. You have this consciousness that is eternal, that exists way beyond this physical form that you have. It is timeless, really. That's what we mean by eternal. So that consciousness resides outside of the limitations of your physical form. So what happens is that consciousness that you have, there's the consciousness that is tied to the physical form and third dimensional reality, but then there's the consciousness, this multidimensionality, that is connected to these other planes of existence. And then there is the consciousness of your soul, basically. We're trying to make this as simple as we can so that you can understand what it is that you are doing in this current time frame that you are on Earth. So this consciousness has already advanced, okay? It's already more advanced than what you may fully give it credit to. So that's why we said raising of your consciousness is a bit misleading because it already is raised. But the consciousness of the physical reality that you are residing needs to remember its connection to the all. So it's a concept, right? It's an idea. It's not something that you can hold in your hand, your consciousness, that you can hold in your hand and say, oh, here, look at my consciousness. It's intangible, but it is part of your existence. It's the most important part of your existence in all of the realms. It's what connects you to these other realms. It's that layer of connection to all that is. It's where your truth lies. It's where everything that you know resides. So when you say you are raising your consciousness or that of the planet, really what you're doing is you are remembering the truth of who you really are. And yes, your soul does advance, and yes, you will expand and all of that from this experience, but you already are that expanded being. You're just adding to it with your experiences. And this is what you are learning to master here. Many of you have experienced what you call out-of-body experiences, or you see with your physical eyes energy, or you sense the energy, and you have all these experiences that you cannot give a clear definition to. And because of that, it causes you to question your reality on earth, which is good, which is what we are really hoping that you become more comfortable with. Because you have this all-knowing, we'll call it again, consciousness, existence, this reality that is part of your soul's knowing, everything that you need to master your existence, not just in the physical realm of earth in its third dimensional reality, but in all of your existences, is there for you. So you may say, thank you, Sornia, for these words. How do you do that? How do you understand the intentional ways to heal the body, or the intentional ways that I can take my consciousness and go out of my body and see my body from a distance? How can I define the energies that I'm seeing in this reality here? How can I do these things? How? And we are step by step, or increments rather than step by step. It's in increments, hoping to guide you to that mastery. Notice we have been using the word mastery several times because we want to emphasize to you that each one of you chose to be in earth reality at this time, the way it's designed, to gain mastery. It is the most difficult reality or dimension currently that is open to souls entering for experience. And you chose it for personal reasons, and you chose it for what it would do for the greater good. Because when you do something for yourselves, you do it for the greater good anyway, and vice versa. When you are out of your physical form from this reality, you see yourselves, you sense yourselves more as part of the all. Just as a little side note, you're not as individualized as you experience in this physical reality. So what are you doing? You say, okay, but still, Sornia, how do I do this? We cannot give you the specific steps that each one of you will use, because that is up to you. Remember, you are on earth, or let's say in that third dimensional reality by choice, that aspect of you. You have free will. You knew going in that this was going to be an experience that would give you the opportunity to expand your consciousness to the same vibration that your soul is at. That's what that consciousness awakening means, or the raising of the consciousness. Remembering who you really are. And that's why you chose to do this. When you are doing this, each one of you will do it in your own unique way. And you must find that way, because we cannot give you that. We can tell you to find it through meditation, but meditation doesn't work for all of you. We can tell you to take long walks in nature. What if you're not capable of walking in nature? What if you live in a city? Each one of you that receives this message must, at this time, if you are wanting to free yourselves from the limitations that you are able to free yourselves from at this time, must take yourselves seriously and must do your own internal work in the way that you find works for you. You see, you have been indoctrinated, if we will, or convinced that your answers and guidance and information and how to do things, there's one way of doing them, or maybe there are 2 or 3 ways, but they have to be what somebody else has done and proven it. So you read their books or you listen to them speak, which is all fine. It's, again, information. But all of that is just that, is information. For you to gain what it is that you went into that third dimensional reality to gain, you must go within in the way that you know, or teach yourself, or decide to go within. No one can do it for you, and no one has the same way of going within that you have. Now, how beautiful is that? That's actually quite incredible. Because what does that say? That you are in charge, that you are an all-powerful being, again, eternal, nothing can harm you, and you get to decide how you are going to raise your own consciousness in your own way. So we really encourage you to find that path that is unique to you, because each one of you, every one of you, is a unique expression of God, of the divine, of Source. Each one of you, you just are. And that is the beauty of it. And that is part of the secret. You see, as we said before, most of you have a subconscious belief that there's one right way of doing things, or somebody will have to teach you, or you're not capable of doing it your own way. It must not be correct if you do it your own way. Do it your own way. You'll know, because truth, which is what we're talking about here ultimately, truth will feel like truth to you. And all those layers of limitation and falsehoods, beliefs that don't really align with your truth, become apparent. And then you begin to free yourself and see yourselves for who you really are. We can tell you, you are divine beings, you are unconditional love, you are an expression from the heart. We can tell you all of that, and that might feel good to you for the moment. But when you find that yourselves, through your own personal journey, in your own unique way, it becomes something that no one can change that in you. And that is the point of this time period that you are living in. You are doing it. Those who are hearing this, you may feel alone. Nobody else I know is doing it like this. Sornia, you say some stuff that we question. Go ahead and question. That is very important. But you are in this time period specifically because it will give you the opportunity to really attain mastery and an understanding of the truth. Not an understanding, that's an understatement, really. You will know with every fiber of your being who you really are. And you will look at the physical form as something complementary, as a tool that you use. But you will love the physical form instead of having either disdain for it or abuses of it or indulgences in the physical form to find the pleasure. You will find the pleasure of the physical form as the divine finds it, the divine of you. When you incarnate, when you choose to do that and you begin with your consciousness, the soul and the consciousness of who you are, begins its journey into the physical and how it begins to connect in ways in which you will eventually be able to know this, but for now you don't have memory of it, your birthing process, which starts much before you are actually born onto earth. But when that happens, the excitement that you feel of having this opportunity to have a physical form, it's, by your definitions, magical. It is really, in there lies the truth of all creation. And that is what you know because you've all experienced it. You've all come into physical, third-dimensional reality through the same process, even if it was your unique process, but the process that supports you to connect energetically with all your different physical and non-physical bodies to begin your journey on earth. It is really quite beautiful. Maybe you want to take some time and ponder what that feels like to come into physical reality from the non-physical. We guarantee you, if you do ponder or go into meditation or take a walk and have that as your intention, you will feel what it feels like to come from the non-physical, what you call the spiritual realm, and what it feels like to enter into the physical form. And using your words, it will blow your minds. But you will understand something so profound about creation. And you are creating yourselves. You will understand that. And no one can take that away from you because it is you. It doesn't become. It is you, and you remember it, and you embrace it. And you know that that is the truth of everything. Everyone, every living, breathing creature comes in the same way. We're going to end here. So hopefully we didn't confuse you. Hopefully we did inspire you. Ask your questions. We are trying to answer them as best as possible, as we do hear you. So ask, as you listen to us and questions arise, ask. We will try our best to answer them in the ways that we know how. Sometimes we can't, and you know that. We all love you very much. We feel nothing but gratitude for everything that all of you have done and are doing and continue to do. We see where your hearts are at, as you say. And we want more for you. And we are here to support that. Again, we are guides. We're here to support what you are doing. But what you are doing there, you are doing for everyone. And you'll understand this. That's the whole point of your journey. Remember mastery. Remember your eternal, the truth of being an eternal being. It's quite beautiful. Well, we could keep going on, but we will stop here so that you have time to ponder. Thank you. As always, we are Sornia. Goodbye.